This, I promise.
Oh my god, that was an excellent episode. This year's crossover going to be amazing. I loved it. It was excellent. I think it was excellent. Did it have problems? Sure, everything has problems, right? I can't even remember the problems, so I'm too pumped and hyped about everything I liked about this episode. First of all, I gotta say something. I love Smallville. I love the show. I remember when it was coming out, I was in my teens, and I was like, oh snap, I'm gonna watch that show. And I started keeping up with it, but I fell off. You know, you start hanging out with your friends at night and stuff, and especially the day that your show comes on. I wish I was more dedicated to getting home, making sure I see my shows back then. But I would miss episodes, and I would just watch them whenever I saw it, and I really enjoy Smallville. And this is supposed to be about Elseworlds, episode 1, The Flash, episode 9 of season 5 of The Flash. But I just had to say that because they did something in this episode that was so amazing. They went to Smallville on something I don't think any of us expected. They start playing the Smallville theme. Somebody save. Yeah, when it came on, I got goosebumps everywhere. You know how sometimes it just lasts for like a second or 2 or 3. Lasted like 10 seconds long, no lie. Yes, I'm geeking out right now. I'm a geek. I'm a fanboy, you know. Superman, my first superhero that I loved and liked and everything. First comics I started collecting, Superman. Grew up a Marvel kid, but still Superman. So I was geeking out, and I teared up. I really did. I wrote that on Twitter. I was like, oh, no lie, I'm tearing up right now. I don't care what anybody say. I had some, typos in there. I was messing up and everything, but yeah, I was tearing up. My eyes just watered up and tears was coming. I mean, I wasn't sad or anything. I just couldn't control my body. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. But yes, let me get to the episode, and we'll talk more about how much I enjoyed that Smallville throwback later. I enjoyed everything about this thing. This thing was great. It feels like Arrow was changing because the show's in a new direction now. He's out of prison. Spoilers if you ain't watched that. You shouldn't be watching this review, and there's going to be spoilers in this review. But yeah, so the show feels weird because he's not wearing his mask or his hood. I think he's going to put the mask on again once he realized Barry's going to be like, I made this for you. So he probably wear the mask. That would be cool. But he's not wearing a hood anymore. He doesn't need to. The whole world knows he's Oliver Queen. He lied so many times and saying, yeah, it's not me when the world thought it was him. But the show feels different. It really does. And I like what I saw in this. And it had some dynamic. Barry, Oliver switched bodies. Really kind of like, they didn't switch bodies, they just switched roles. They had each other's powers and abilities, but like Barry had all the training and the skills and the reflexes, but he just didn't know to use it. It's not up here mentally. It's like muscle memory. And, Oliver has the speed, but, whatever. They had to mentor each other through how to do things. And I like that. I miss seeing Barry and Oliver on screen together. Because Grant Gustin and Stephen Amell, they work so good together. I miss the crossovers. I remember when they first did the Flash and Arrow was going to show up on Flash, like the crossover episode. I was like, I don't know, man. These shows are kind of really different. I hope it works. And it worked out okay where that metahuman made Barry like angry and just made him full of rage and they had to fight. I'm like, Barry's going to tear him up, which he did with his speed. But the show, it worked. It was okay. And then, Arrow showed up again later to help them with Reverse Flash, Firestorm, Green Arrow, and Flash versus Reverse Flash. It worked great. And then Flash was showing up on season 3 of Arrow, and they would do that. Before they had Supergirl come to CW, and they had Legends formed. And when they got Legends and Supergirl, all of a sudden we had these big 4-episode event crossovers of each show had the crossover going on in it, and they were great. I love the Invasion from 2 years ago. I love last year's Crisis on Earth X. It was great. I love the crossovers work, and it's something to look forward to every year. Man, I hope Stephen Amell stays Arrow for a little while longer. I really do, because I love when they on screen together. I really do. I wish they would cross over a little bit more. Not just one big crossover event, but just jump in each other's episodes. I understand it's time consuming and everything like that, but it's worth it. And what we're getting on TV right now as comic geeks and comic fans, or even if you're not a fan of the comics, the comic book shows, television shows, This is just so pleasing to see. It's not exactly what we expect. I mean, I learned that with Smallville back in the day. I'm like, man, how's Doomsday here? Zod, he's not even Superman yet. And other movies like the X-Men movies and stuff. I've realized we're not going to get exactly what we want from the comics in these adaptations of television shows and movies. So I was just okay with whatever they do as long as it was good. And Smallville's stories were good. The show was great. It's one of my favorite television shows of all time. Definitely in my top 5, probably in the top 3. But I love Arrow. I love Flash. These crossovers are excellent. And this was just episode 1. I liked how Barry had to be more brooding and serious like Oliver for things to work. For him to use his body correctly and his skills. And Oliver had to have more fun and be more caring and joyful for him to be able to pull off the stunts that, things that Barry could do. So they had to kind of switch roles, play each other's roles. Supergirl, I love in the crossovers. And I'm loving this season of Supergirl, too. I really am. First season was really good. I liked the second season had some moments, but just hard for me to stay into Supergirl for some reason. Yeah, they had Superman there. Clark. He did some stuff. He was there. He was along for the ride. It was cool. They're not really doing Superman. They focus more on Supergirl, trying to give her shine, which I understand. Just doesn't feel right sometimes. Like Superman is Supergirl, and Supergirl is just it's the highlight of. She has her own show right now. Makes sense, but goodness gracious, a lot of us believe Superman had a job to Supergirl to get her over so she could look better. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to have them fight each other. I don't know. Whatever. But and we're about to get a black suit Superman. Going up against Superman, Batwoman, Flash, Green Arrow, and Supergirl. And Earth 90 Flash. Or was it 93? Whatever. The Flash that I know and I saw when I was a kid in the 90s with Ship. And he plays Barry's dad in this series. Oh my gosh. This is fantastic. I love it. All the stuff with the anti-monitor, I don't know. That guy, why'd they pick him? It was like, dude, you tried to save everybody on Lost with that crazy mess. Come over here and mess everything up. I don't know what was going on there. But I really enjoyed this episode, especially since I know it's 2 more episodes coming. And at the end, they talking about, I know where they're at. I know where this happened at. Because Oliver has probably been to Gotham, and we know he's been to Bloodhaven a few times. So he saw the Wayne Tower in the background, so they're going to Gotham. At the end, we see Batwoman on top of that building and everything. I can't wait to see Batwoman. Now, I like Batgirl more than Batwoman. I just like the fact that we get some Bat family members into this Arrow universe. And I wish they did this stuff a lot earlier. Because when they made Arrow, they wanted to stay away from superpowers, keep it serious. Same thing with Smallville. Remember, it was no tights, no flight. But they started having him fly when the artifacts would change him into Kal-El or something like that. And they try to stay away from stuff, and they end up having like the earlier version of the Justice League. And it was crazy, man. It's crazy. But it seems like what they want to stay away from, they always just sooner or later get to there. Just like with Gotham. Gotham was supposed to be about Gordon and the city. And it was cool what they were doing, but they realized a lot of fans wanted to see the supervillains and stuff. Gotham didn't feel the same with just the Penguin and, and they started giving it to the freaks, as they call them, the supervillains and stuff of Gotham. And people really started to respond to it. They didn't want to change young Bruce into Batman, but they had to start doing it. You have all the villains and no Batman. I don't know. Maybe they ran out what they do with them. But then they did a whole bunch of stuff really early. I'm talking so much about these other shows. This episode of the Elseworlds crossover event was great, and I can't wait to see the next ones. I can't wait. I love these crossovers, man. I appreciate all the work they do because it's so fun. Who would have thought we would have been seeing stuff like this? Different versions of Flash from the 90s television show. Nobody knew we was going to have to go see him again in another one. And you can do this. You can do stuff like this when you're dealing with multiple realities and Earths. And with a show like that, you can do almost anything. You can have any superhero, any version of them, as many of them as you want show up in these universes. And we didn't think we were going to get this one. Arrow season 2, when they said they was going to bring Flash in and stuff just to introduce superpowers, because they wanted to stay away from that. But they always do that. And then they realized, like, let's just go nuts. Let's go nuts with this stuff. Legends was a show that went nuts too, and it was actually fun. It was really fun to watch. But I wish Legends was a part of this. But I guess they figured, like, we have enough characters. Let's focus on that. I don't know. But it couldn't hurt, I guess. Not me. They could show up in the last episode or something. But I love it. I enjoyed it a lot. And yes, that Smallville scene, like when the music played, I teared up. I was shaking. I was on Twitter like, oh man. I text my nephew, oh my gosh, Smallville. You know, it was just so good to hear that theme. It's so good. Too bad we didn't get Tom Welling or Michael to be like Lex, and we have a new Lois Lane and new Clark Kent / Superman. But it just felt good to see Kent Farm and the music and that shot. I saw on Twitter, it looks like it was still some stock footage from Smallville, that overhead shot of, and it looks the same. They had the 2001 shot of that and the shot of that now, and it looks the same. It might have been, but it doesn't matter. You know, oh my gosh, I love that. Oh, that felt good. I don't really know how I'm coming around to this version of Superman. It's different, you know what I mean? It's just different, but it didn't ruin the show for me. I loved it. That song, oh my goodness. I was very young when that came out, Smallville, but that show was I loved Smallville. I really loved the first several seasons more, but all of it was good. All of it was good. It was done great, but it took me back, man. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know how y'all felt. Who would have thought we was going to get something like this? And then the movies we get nowadays, when they work out good, you know what I'm saying? A certain brand of, superheroes and other brands have their moments, but who would have thought? The stuff we get now it's fantastic. I love it so much. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm going off, but episode was excellent. Excellent. Can't wait. Doing a review for each and every one of them. I live tweet. I believe my Twitter is in the description down below, so you can, I do other shows too. I do other shows, but a lot of CW shows. But yeah, that's it. That's all I gotta say. It was excellent. Tell me what you guys think. Leave some comments. Let's talk about this some more. I can't. I'm too hyped. Stardust app. I got Stardust too. I usually leave reviews for trailers or movies and stuff. I've been using it a lot more lately. I'll put that link down in the description. See you next time.
Been over this, hon?
No, you talked, I ignored. I need a new muffler.
I think this is a tie rod end.
Come on, Kara, back me up here.
No, thanks. I know better than to get involved in a debate with Lois Lane.